My wife blindsided me. She left with our kids, emptied our bank account, and ran off with another man, but she had no idea I was already one step ahead. This is a story about my wife abandoning me, taking everything we had, including my savings, and how I was prepared for it. You won't believe what unfolded next. I've been married to Emma for 9 years. We share 2 children, and I thought our life was solid. Sure, every relationship has its challenges, but we always found a way through. Lately, though, Emma had been distant for months. I figured it was just stress from her job or parenting demands. I was caught up in my own work, so I didn't dwell on it too much. One night after a long day, I was getting the kids ready for bed when I received a text from Emma. Now, my wife isn't one to text unless it's something urgent or trivial. But this message, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It read, "I'm done with you, I found someone else, my bags are packed." At first, I couldn't process it. Was this a prank? I didn't believe it. I called her immediately. No answer. I tried again. Nothing. I started pacing the house, my mind spiraling. Was she upset? Was this some kind of emotional outburst? But the more I thought about it, the more it sank in she meant it. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing. She was leaving me. My heart sank. I couldn't think clearly, but I forced myself to check the bedroom. When I walked in, it was real. Her suitcase was gone, and most of her clothes were missing, just like that. It felt like she'd been planning this for a while. I stood there frozen, unsure whether to feel rage, sorrow, or confusion. My heart pounded, my hands shook. I felt like my world was collapsing and I didn't know how to fight back yet. All I could think was, why? The next day, things got worse. I went to the bank for some routine tasks and discovered our joint accounts were empty. Every cent gone. She'd taken it all. My stomach churned. This wasn't just a breakup or a fleeting argument. She'd taken everything I'd worked for, everything we'd built together. I called Emma. No response. I texted, "What's going on? Where's the money?" No reply. Hours later, she finally responded, but it wasn't what I expected. Her message read, "I'm sorry, but I'm done. I can't pretend this marriage works anymore. You never noticed me. You never gave me what I needed. I found someone who does. I'm taking the kids and I'm not coming back. Don't contact me." I was floored. She was leaving me for another man, someone she claimed saw her. She didn't even say who he was. My stomach twisted and part of me didn't want to know. It felt like my heart was being torn apart. After all our years together, I never imagined this. I sat in the living room all night, staring at my phone, calling her repeatedly with no answer. I was angry, hurt, and betrayed. Everything I thought I knew about our marriage felt like a lie. Eventually, Emma reached out, not to apologize, but to say, "I don't want to fight. This is happening. I don't love you anymore. I've moved on. Let me go." I was seething inside, trying to hold it together. I was furious at her for leaving, for choosing someone else, and for taking everything we'd built. But the worst part, she'd planned it all. She didn't just leave, she left with everything. A few days later, I learned the man she was with was younger, someone who didn't know her the way I did, but had convinced her I wasn't enough. The betrayal cut deeper. I'd noticed her distance, but I never thought it was this serious. I thought we had time to fix things. She'd taken my savings, my kids, and now she was living a new life. I felt blindsided, like I was losing not just her, but the future I'd envisioned. I spent days grappling with the pain, wondering how she could do this, how she could walk away so easily. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. She'd played me and it seemed effortless for her, but something in me shifted. I was done being caught off guard. I knew I had to fight back and I wasn't going to let her take everything without a struggle. Update, I still can't fully wrap my head around it, but here we are. After Emma left, taking my savings, our kids, and my sense of stability, I thought it couldn't get worse. I was wrong. I had no idea how far she'd go to claim what she thought she deserved. For days, I was in a fog trying to make sense of the chaos. I kept reaching out to Emma, but all I got was silence or curt replies. I knew she was with someone new, but the details were unclear. I just knew she'd been pulling away for months, and I hadn't seen the full extent of it. But the real storm hit when she discovered I'd moved my savings to a separate account weeks earlier. I hadn't told her, but her growing detachment had raised red flags. My instincts told me to protect myself, so I'd quietly transferred my money bit by bit to a separate account, ensuring I wouldn't be left with nothing if things went south. I never expected the fury that followed when she found out. It started with a phone call she actually answered this time. Her voice was icy, like she was talking to a stranger. She didn't even let me speak before snapping. "You think you can get away with this?" She was talking about the money. I was stunned. She'd left me, taken the kids, and drained our joint accounts, yet she was angry at me. I stayed calm, or at least tried to. "You left, Emma. You took everything. I'm not the one who needs to explain anything." But she didn't budge. Her tone grew sharper. "I'm taking you to court, Noah. You can't hide the money from me. I'm entitled to half of everything." Her audacity floored me. Half of everything, after what she'd done? I could hear the desperation in her voice as she went on. "You've been scheming, haven't you? I'll get what's mine and you won't stop me." It wasn't about fairness, it was entitlement. She was ready to drag me through court because I'd protected myself. I didn't argue. I let her rant, knowing something she didn't. I was ready. Days later, I received a formal letter from her attorney, full of legal jargon about divorce and asset division, claiming she was entitled to half of everything, including my separate account. But that account wasn't joint. It was mine, set up legally and separate from our shared finances. Still, the threat of a lawsuit wasn't pleasant. It wasn't just about money. It felt like she was trying to control me even after leaving. Her lawyer pushed hard, demanding documents and filing motions. Then came the real blow. Emma was fighting for full custody of the kids, claiming I wasn't fit to raise them, despite me being their primary caregiver for years. My blood boiled. She'd already taken so much, and now she wanted my kids too? I was beyond frustrated. I was furious. Not only had she left me for another man and taken our money, but now she was trying to ruin me legally. I started questioning everything about our marriage. Had she always been this way? How had I missed it? But I wasn't going to let her win. I'd prepared for this. I contacted my lawyer and we began building a case to counter her claims. I wasn't going to let her take everything I'd worked for. This wasn't just a divorce, it was a war. I had to stay sharp and fight for my kids, my assets, and my future. Final update, here's the final chapter of this chaotic journey. After all the emotional turmoil, legal threats, and accusations, I thought I'd seen it all. But what happened in court? It was beyond anything I could have imagined. By this point, I'd gathered everything I needed for the fight. Emma was relentless, especially after discovering my separate account, and her lawyer was aggressive, pushing for more at every turn. I had a seasoned attorney who'd handled messy divorces before, and I felt as ready as I could be. But nothing prepares you for the emotional weight of facing the person you once loved in court. Emma was out for everything, money, kids, whatever she could take. The court date arrived, and the first hours were routine. Both sides argued over assets. Emma's lawyer painted me as a deceitful schemer who'd hidden money. It felt like a spectacle, nothing like the dramatic courtroom scenes on TV. It was long, dull, and filled with legal terms I barely followed. Then came the custody battle. Emma pushed for full custody, claiming I wasn't capable of raising our kids, despite my years of being there for every milestone. It was infuriating to hear her lawyer twist the truth, portraying me as an absent father. But then I had my moment. Emma didn't see it coming. During the separation, I'd meticulously documented everything, every call, text, and financial record. I'd kept it quiet even from my lawyer, but I knew it could be crucial. When Emma's lawyer accused me of being unfit, I stood up calmly and said, "Your Honor, I'd like to present evidence." I handed over a stack of documents, texts, emails, and financial records showing Emma's actions during our separation. The courtroom went silent. The evidence revealed Emma hadn't just drained our joint accounts. She'd been funneling money to her new boyfriend, Liam, for months before leaving. Wire transfers, emails about investments, and joint accounts in their names proved she'd been planning her exit long before she walked out. Emma's face was stone cold, but I could tell she was rattled. Her accusations against me crumbled. Her lawyer tried to pivot, but the damage was done. Then came another twist. Emma's lawyer accused me of turning the kids against her, claiming I'd manipulated them. That stung because I'd shielded the kids from this mess. They didn't deserve to be caught in the crossfire. But then, the judge spoke. After reviewing the evidence, he said, "Based on the evidence, Mrs. Carter has acted in bad faith regarding financial disclosure and the children's custody. Mr. Hayes, given his history of caregiving, will have primary custody." It was like a weight lifted off me. For the first time in months, I felt like I was regaining control. Emma's face paled, her anger palpable, but she had no moves left. She walked away with nearly nothing. No money, no full custody, and her reputation damaged by her own choices. I left the courtroom knowing I'd fought for my kids and my future, and won.